So what this is pretty much is a dumbed down version of a vision system. So if any of you have ever dealt with a vision system at $10,000 to $6,000, very expensive. This is roughly about $2,000 to $3,000, so it's roughly a lot cheaper. What you have here is 300,000 infrared lasers that are coming out of this to scan the object that's below it. Because it's infrared, obviously it's not affected by any of the light. So whether the lights are on or we turn them off, it doesn't matter. This will still operate properly. So that's really nice. The only thing that really affects it is what? Everybody, infrared is the sun. So this here is all it is. It's connected just by power and then Ethernet. That's all it is. Version 3, they're looking to come out with in the next 5-10 years maybe. It'll be power over Ethernet. So then it'll just be one cord altogether. So this is version Series B. Series A, which you've probably seen in the wild, has like 16 different cords coming out of it. So they kind of reduced it down to 2 now, which is nice. But pretty much what this is just anything that you have like a conveyor system that's repetition. So it's the same thing coming out of the whatever machine you have that maybe you want to do a quality inspection on. Maybe you want to make sure, like a box that's getting packed, make sure that everything's in it correctly, all those items like that. That's what this is good for. So it's pretty much like, a quality person. That's pretty much what this would be. But then, like I said, it's not affected by heat, any type of temperature, any light, nothing, none of that affects it. So it's a really good little product. So I'm going to throw it up here real quick. You guys will be able to check it out. So what we're saying here is obviously Swifty sensor. It's configurable any which way you want. So what I was going to show you is we have 254 different templates. So think of a template as a batch. If you guys do anything with brewing or any type of like baking, so it's like a batch. Inside that template, we have 64 different zones that we can pick out from. So you do the math there. If any of you are math wizards, you can figure out how many different ways you can configure this. So when this product gets configured that way, you can have it look at anything you want to, whether it's a square, circle, rectangle, polygon. It doesn't matter. You can make up a shape if you wanted to. So as long as you can see it. What's that? An octagon, any shape you want, you can make it. So the way it sets that up is it looks at it, and then it looks at what's inside that zone. So when anything passes through that zone, that could either be a go or no go. So for an example, if you guys want to say in your PLC that if something goes through it, yes, that's good, it's green light, then we can move on to the next phase, that's good. Or I've seen customers where if something's in that's wrong. Something's wrong with the product, so that's a fault. So then the machine faults out, letting the operator know something's going on. So why do I bring up the PLC? Because it has an AOP. So it's easy. Once you plug it in, it goes right to the PLC. PLC recognizes it, puts it right up in your tree, and you're good to go. All the tags are there. Everything's set and available. Every time you change a template, the tags are already preset. So it's not going to have to go back in there and re-change the tags. So on an HMI screen, for example, the operator can pick what batch they're going to do. That automatically changes all of your tags within that system, so then it operates the way you want to. Okay, so an example would be, customer of mine has it where the boxes come out and the one box has to be flopped down. The flap needs to be down. Well, if something's in that flap zone, then that's wrong. So the computer fault. Well, they have another one where that flap needs to stay up for a secondary packaging that they need. So they switch it, same zone, but now it's green light. So if that flap isn't there, then it detects some issue is going on. So all works from that area there. Again, like I said, here's your traditional sensor, right? There's your configurable 3D sensor, and then your machine vision. So again, we're kind of like right in the middle there of the whole technology. We're not all the way up to full vision, so you can't tell me, look for this. It's not going to look for that. It doesn't know what to look for. It's just kind of fits in that middle scale that we really need for. Again, height or distance measurement. So like I said, what was really cool, and I wanted to show you, I had all my junk that I've been collecting all day today set up and ready to go from random different people. I was hoping somebody was here that might have been like, hey, that's my water bottle, which would have been cool. But so what happens is like something like this. So like if you're doing packaging, right? Let's say you're doing bottles, beer bottle, any type of bottle, and you need a cap. When that sucker comes out from the casing, and it's going to be packed in and ready to go out, if it's missing a cap, this can tell. All right, now what I was going to show you was like, we would set this up down low, and then I would place this as an object it wants to look at, and then I'd move it and then set the height. So now it's looking for the height from the ground up to here. Once the bottle's in place, then that sets my tag. Now, if this cap is removed, it'll know, because it's shining a light down through, that that cap has been removed. So it flags it. So that's the cool thing. I wish I could show you. I'm sorry, this thing's... Anyway, so that's what's really nice about this product, is even something as thin as this cap, it's able to tell whether it's there or not. So it defeats the purpose of having like 6 different sensors when you're having, bottles coming through, or however many different sensors. It's just one that's looking at all of them, and you can set each one of those zones up. So you can have up to 64 different bottles you're looking at one shot if you wanted to. So that's what makes this really cool. Presence sensing, like we said, there is an object there or isn't. That's really all it's telling you. Is an object there? Oh, height, sorry, go back to height and distance. If you have a bag, like let's say you're packaging chips, right? If that bag has fallen over, it's not going to have the height it would if it's standing up. This can tell that. So it could say, hey, something fell over, that box isn't full, flags it. So it's items like that that make it really cool when it comes through with this product. Again, it's a high resolution. I mean, I'm going to tell you, 640 by 480 is not high resolution in my opinion, but maybe they don't know what that is, but they say high resolution there. Like I said, 300,000 different light sources that are coming down. I see a couple guys back here must know about computers because they're smiling. So I was like, that's garbage. I don't know if I'd even buy something that's like 640 by 480. So we're gonna pretend it's Rockwell high energy or high resolution. Large field of view. So the higher you go up, the more it can see. Obviously, that makes sense, right? It's one little tiny square here, but it's going to shoot it out down, but it's going to come out. So the further it goes out, the further it comes back. Now, the cool thing is because there's so many different light arrays, they're all pointing in different directions to receive the light back. So if I turn it on an angle, so let's say I want to have this sucker on an angle, like maybe like this, right? The way that the sensors are being sent back, it'll bounce back into here. So it'll be able to see it. So you can put it on an angle if you want to look at an angle. Maybe a box is coming in a different way or whatever. So it all kind of works out really well in that area there. 200. They say 255, but technically the one that you always get is the sample one, so it's 254. So it's 254 templates that you have there with, again, 64 different zones within that. So like I said, if you're a math major in here, you guys can do the calculation with how many different ways you can configure this, but it is a lot. So, again, the nice there is a web interface, which is what I was trying to hook into. It does work. I guarantee you it works. It just doesn't want to work today. It's a little bit shy. It's okay. Big crowd that it's in front of, but it is web configurable. It does have a web page that you can use onto it, and that is for the configuration. So you can't go into the tree and reconfigure it that way. So you can change the tags, you can change the value of the tags, but you can't change what the tags are doing. That has to be done within the web interface, and then it sends the tags back to it. So just give you guys a quick heads up on that. So again, here is where, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bottle cap missing here. So you can see the number of bottles that it has here. It's looking for all them, and it's going to say, hey, there's one missing. Something's not right on that one. It's going to flag it. Don't know what's wrong with it. It just knows there's something wrong. Ones and zeros today, baby. Ones and zeros. That's all we're at here. So it's going to say to itself, it doesn't know, but there is something wrong there. Again, is it missing a case? So it can say, hey, there's a bottle cap missing, and there's a full case missing. So it's going to take both of them. Now, these are all different zones, right? So this is one zone. Each bottle cap is a zone. You can have a zone within a zone. That's totally okay as well. Maybe you want it to say, is there a case there first? Then look at the bottle caps. You can tell it to do that as well. So we can have zones within zones. And again, here's even a zone within a zone within a zone. I mean, I don't know how far down the rabbit hole we want to go with this, but we can go pretty far. But you have 1, 2, 3 different zones inside of it. Maybe you even have a fourth zone, the fourth dimension of where is there an entire box there? Well, yeah, there is. So now I can start utilizing the other zones. So you can see how it can build upon itself over and over and over again. Again, it's for repetition though. If you guys have cookies coming out of your line all randomly, it ain't gonna know what to do. All right, somebody asked me if they could do chicken wings. It's like, no, not unless they're in the same line coming out. It's not a true vision system. So it's not looking for a product. It's just saying, yes, there's something there, or no, there's not. So that's all it is. Again, it's just telling you here, you can save labor with it, no, lost resources, money, everything like that can be all used through it. So again, what you're looking at up here is what it would look like. So there's two different ways you're going to look at it. So this is what we call the infrared version. So if you want to look at something the temperature-wise, that's what we're using here. You can see, I'm going to come down here. These little areas right here, like are these squares here? It's probably easier with the squares. That's a zone. All right. So every time you place a zone, it's going to put a number on it. So I have 11 here, 2 here. There's probably more zones. Those are all tag values. All right. So when you look at it, you're going to see that tag value sitting inside here. Then they have all the zones sitting up and through here. This is the infrared. The vision system is just pretty much black and white, so there would be no color within there. So again, what you're looking at here is, here's a bunch of, I think it's some kind of meat. I'm not sure what meat it is. Some kind of meat packaging. And this is what that IR scanner, the infrared scanner, is seeing. So this is how it's reading the platform, which is really cool. And then here it's saying the different zones that I have, it's saying, hey, there's something wrong with this one because the height is not matching. So it's saying to yourself, there's something wrong here. 15 centimeters height is only at 10. So there's not enough meat in that product. So that's how close you can get with some of these items, which is really, really nice. Yes. You can have the tag value sent back, yes. Yep. So if you want to have that sent back to your HMI screen for the operator or for wherever you want to do it, yes, you can absolutely send that back. So again, here is level fullness, right? This is empty. Then it can tell you it's full. So what it's doing is calculating the height of the highest of the product. All right, so it's doing an average. So understand it's averaging what that hole is and validating that that average is correct. So there's a little math we have to do on our end, which is saying, hey, this is where it should be. Here's my range. As long as it sits in that range, then it'll be like, yep, we're good. Check off. Let's move forward with it. Again, it's just showing you what it's seeing and how it's reading it. That person has it just set for just the middle. Obviously, they just want an average of what the middle is. The middle should be the highest. And it's telling you, hey, here's my height for that location there. Again, same thing here, where you're looking, they made a grid on the far left there. You're going to see that grid pattern that's sitting there. So that's telling the averages within each of them. As you can see here, it's setting up all the different values for the height to validate that it's where it needs to be. So maybe you want it higher in the middle than on the outside. You can set your tag values to set up for that too as well. So another application is everything being situated correctly? So as you can see here, we're going from the side, and it's saying that box isn't square. Maybe it needs to go into a wrapper, right? I mean, I don't know if any of you are maintenance guys. That sucks when it goes in the shrink wrapper the wrong way. See, some of those guys are smiling over there, so they know what I'm talking about. So if it goes in there and that sucker jams, all that product could be lost. That's something we can put in there. It can read it and say to itself, hey, there's a box out of alignment. How do we get that fixed? How does that, maybe flag them, let them know, hey, we're not going to move on until that gets situated. So there's a bunch of different areas and ways that you can use this product. So unfortunately, that's like the end of this whole fun and exciting presentation that I wish I could show you, so I apologize. This is a really nice little object. Like I said, it's about anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000, depending on how good of a Shadler friend you are. No, I'm just kidding. It's about $2,000 to $3,000 regular price. List is like, I don't know, I think it's like 32 or something. Don't quote me on that. That could go up tomorrow. You never know. But it is a nice economical priced item that makes it a lot easier for you or your customer, whoever it is, to be able to check what their product is doing or coming out of like finished product. Maybe it's even before finished product, right? Could be whatever. I mean, the applications are endless. It all depends on how you can think outside the box to use it. So like I said, but don't think of it as a vision. Please don't go back and say, oh, I saw this really cool vision system, because it's not. It's a 3D sensor, so it only can see things that it's there, whether it is or isn't. So that's the biggest thing to take away from this. But what we have been seeing is in the areas right now where this could be used for quite a bunch of different areas. And like I said, you can have this sitting wherever you want it to. You don't have to have light on it. It can be in a dark room and it's still going to be able to read it crystal clear. So.